Welcome to the SIWIKE Podcast, the only podcast that shares the stuff you didn't know you needed to know about jobs, careers, and life. The SIWIKE Podcast, the stuff I wish I knew earlier.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the SIWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier podcast. This is a bit of a special episode for me, as I want to come on and bring forth the co-authors of the upcoming book. So for those of you who know, I wrote a book. It's called Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier. Obviously, that's kind of the namesake of the podcast. And that original book was the soon-to-be grad edition. So it was meant for students and to kind of walk them through all the stuff I wish I knew earlier and what people told me during that course. So originally the book was going to be called something like What You Didn't Know You Needed to Know, but I couldn't come up with a great acronym for that. So I ended up with SIWIKE, which is a little bit more easier to say. But after finishing writing the book, a lot of folks were like, well, what's next? Because I just graduated. I just completed my degree, and I'm ready to go off to the real world. So what do I turn to? So that's where the Young Professionals edition came about. And I decided to do it a little bit differently because obviously I could have wrote a book for myself. A lot of you know that I have a lot of different interests and material, but I found that as I was going through my career coaching career and setting up all the different connections and networking with a bunch of folks, there were a lot of other people that wanted to write books too. So I kind of assembled the Avengers, so to speak, and brought forth folks, and I guess they can name which ones they are, or pick who they identify with. But I brought forth a bunch of people that kind of just synergistically aligned, where some folks are talking about careers, someone's talking about health and finance and then mental wellness, and it just kind of pieced together and it just fit. So we all got on the same page, and we decided to write a book together. So I want to introduce each of my co-authors, and you'll probably see them from other episodes on the podcast as well. But I wanted each of them to share a little bit of insights of what they could, what you could look forward to hearing about, reading about in the book, and introduce themselves as well. So for myself, I would be kind of the first author. You probably know me already after listening to my content, but the first person who kind of shares her insights is Tiffany Uman. So Tiffany, if you want to share your story and give folks, our readers, listeners, a few insights.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much, Luki. And honestly, I'm so excited to be part of this project. When you approached me about it, I said an immediate yes, because honestly, it resonates so much with me and what I'm currently doing in terms of my profession. So really quick background, I am a career strategy coach, empowering young professionals to be set up for the most success in their careers. But I also have my own Fortune 500 corporate career path of 13 years that I've gone through myself. And similar to what Luki was just saying, and likely a big inspiration for this book, is that there's a lot that you're not prepared for, not just at that graduation level, but once you hit the workforce, there's unfortunately a lot that school never really prepares you for to be set up for success. And that can often lead to a lot of blind spots in your progression, in your path, in the clarity that you want. And so I was really excited to be a part of this project so I could share a lot of my own insights and proven methods that will really set you up best. And it's great because we get to dive into so many different aspects of your career and really living your career potential, whether we're talking about job searching, networking, interviewing, crafting a stellar resume so that you really land the opportunities and interviews that you're hopeful for. But also a lot of the blind spots and things that can really hold you back. You know, some key ones that come to mind that I'd already love to share with you is often doubting ourselves, doubting our own value, especially when you are a young professional and don't yet have years of experience accrued. And how do we go about that in a way that's not going to stand in your way from reaching that potential and really living up to what you want in your career path. But we even go beyond that in terms of really setting you up for fast track success and promotions and salary negotiations. This honestly should be a class in university on how to negotiate. And you know, you see it a lot, especially amongst professional women who don't necessarily negotiate the way that we should. And so it just brings me a lot of passion to share a lot of those proven methods and best practices within this book so that you all have a guidebook that you can reference at any time. And with all of the amazing other topics that are included from my fellow co-authors, it really is that one-stop shop for all things you need to know at a young professional level. So I just know you're going to get so much value out of it, and I look forward for you diving in.
Thanks so much, Tiffany. And then if we can turn to Paulson Ong, who kind of shares his financial wizardry and some of his advice and guidance there. So Paulson, if you can do us the honors.
Yes, of course. So first off, thank you, Luki, for having myself and the rest of our co-authors, lovely co-authors here on the show. Really excited to be here, and it's really an honor. So yeah, so my background is actually in finance, financial advisory, and I had a stint in technology as well. Probably a little over a decade, I think, of experience in that space. And very excited to share just a lot of the ideas that I've collected over the years, just from working with various clients along, various parts of their lives, right? And I think, and a lot of it is also distilled from my own life and decisions that my wife and myself made along the way, ranging from buying your first home, the daunting, decision of saying, hey, like deciding, do we want to rent? Do we want to buy? And then saying, hey, let's pull the trigger, going for it. And then building an actual successful spending plan that allows us to both balance towards saving for the future, and also, without sacrificing too much of our daily lifestyle as well, right? And for me, it's really about compiling like a very good financial checklist that we've shared in this project, and I think it's something that will benefit all of you, that to really take on the collective learnings of decades and decades of experience, and really excited to be a part of this. And like I said, it's an honor as well.
Yeah, thanks so much, Paulson, for sharing. And financial literacy is one of those important things. And I know I was really bad at it when I graduated. So I definitely something I wish I knew earlier in terms of resources to be able to set you up for career success. So happy to have you sharing that. So, and then Dave, hopefully you can share some wisdom and insights in terms of what you were able to share in terms of kind of from health and fitness and exercise, and a couple of things on relationships as well. So if you don't mind giving us a little bit of background on yourself, Dave.
Sure. Thanks, Luki. And yeah, like the other said, it's been a pleasure to be able to work with the co-authors. Just an awesome experience. And again, very proud of what we've been able to piece together. So yeah, as far as myself, I'm a corporate health and wellness lead, I guess you'd call it now. But honestly, it was quite the journey to get there. Luki, we go back a little ways, probably over a decade now. But early on, I may recall that I was a little bit heftier than what I may appear right now.
Right.
And I had to go through some different trials, really figure out and key in on my own personal health. So I think through that experience, paying attention to aspects as far as sleep, exercise, nutrition, and really keying it in on creating more of a lifestyle rather than focusing in on any particular diet, right, or any quick trick type of approach. Really helped me actually get to a point where I can sustain the changes that I've made. So again, in the book, hoping to be able to provide some good content and some stories, I guess, to share, provide some entertainment as well. So as far as relationships go, I am a happy father of 4, so definitely have some experience with kids, and loving wife, helping them along the way. So again, some experience we'll share, some things that again might be a little bit down the road, but might be worth some consideration as well.
For sure. And sometimes it's just planting those seeds so that folks are aware and of what they are, quote unquote, supposed to do in some occasions versus, well, do you really have to do that? Because I think we entertain some of those questions as well, because not everyone should get married, should have kids, that sort of thing. And it's one of those kind of obligatory things that people often don't question. I think those will spark some good conversation. And having seen kind of the transition from you, I guess as a heftier person to one who's running triathlons and things like that, right? I definitely want to get your insights and wisdom on that. So thanks so much, Dave, for sharing. And then Shalini, we connected and we kind of started geeking out a little bit on kind of the mental health and mental wellness So I'd love for you to kind of introduce yourself and some of the teachings and wisdom that you bring into the book as well.
So thank you, and again, like I want to echo the comment that this has been an interesting journey. It's been exciting. It's been a bit of a roller coaster writing something that you've never written before, and then the support of this team and these authors here has just been so great. And thank you, Luki, for organizing all of us and keeping us all on track and inviting us on the show today. And so myself, Shalini, so I started almost 11 or 12 years ago now, and I started off as a technical writer in the telecom industry, and then I discovered this thing called project management, which no one knew about in university, and then went down that path and figured out some agile stuff and Scrum stuff, and now I work as an IT consultant by day. And in the evenings, I spend most of my time doing my master's in psychology. And so my part in the book is around mental health and mental wellness, and figuring out on the theme of trying to figure out what it is that I really want, what is the things that I really need to do. A really powerful technique to move into that is this piece that we call mindfulness, that we call meditation, call self-care, mindset, and perspective. So the key kind of piece is figuring out what is it that makes me who I am, what are the things that make me tick, and what are the things that will make me truly happy, not based on what are the things I should do, what are the things those people are doing. It's kind of here, me today, now. And these are a lot of things I wish I knew when I was younger, because I would just focus more on the accomplishment or this thing that would get me to this place or this space. But if I just took a bit more time in the present instead of being worried about the past or anxious about the future, it would have helped me kind of enjoy the journey a bit more. And then so that's kind of my key takeaway in my piece is, how do we spend more time today in this moment enjoying where we are today instead of just focusing on that finish line. So it's how do we enjoy the run of each step of our run, as opposed to just waiting for that finish line to get us there.
For sure, it's that adage of life's about the journey, not the destination, and definitely it's one of those things where it's a practice. It's not something that you learn and and you just automatically have it. It's a daily thing that you have to encounter. So I mean, myself included, I have to undo, I guess, decades worth of kind of the negative conditioning and beating myself up, that sort of thing. And now I'm much better at it. But definitely for those out there that are struggling with some of those things, I mean, there is hope and there's some tools out there. And I think there's a lot more focus on it with folks out there getting into kind of the whole meditation, mindfulness, and mindset, and just wellness and self-care in general. I think is having kind of its boom and renaissance upcoming. I don't know if it's necessarily all mainstream right now, but so many more people are talking about it, which I think is super important. And then I guess my piece is kind of bringing all them together. So each of us will take sections, and then we also add our few kind of little tidbits and takeaways that we've learned as well, our 2 cents, so to speak. But I add a little bit more on things like the adulting world, right? So some basic and foundational skills, the soft skills, the human skills, because I don't think they're soft or negotiable. I think they're skills that everybody should have. So basic things like communication and organization and leadership and stuff like that, right? Everyone should have that in their own shape or form, right? And I encourage folks who are just getting off in their career, or if you're still a student and want to get a preview of what you have to look forward to, then pick up both editions of the book. And I'm looking forward to sharing more insights with folks. And if folks can respond with any kind of additional things that they might want to see in the book or in future editions or whatever, feel free to reach out to us. And again, I'm excited to bring these 4 awesome folks and their stories, their insights, and their kind of years of wisdom and knowledge and all that, the stuff they wish they knew earlier, and share it with you so that you can kind of level up your mistakes, is what I like to say. So don't deal with the simple, trivial mistakes that we all kind of had to go through. learn about this so that you can apply it to practice and then grow and get better on your own. So that's it for our episode. So thanks all four of you for joining, and I'm sure we'll have more discussions as we kind of release the book and get more into the topics. But thanks so much, and hopefully we'll see you all on for a future episode.
Thanks for joining us on the SIWIKE Stuff I Wish I Knew Earlier, the podcast. If you like the podcast, please subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you found this podcast. And if you can give us a review, that would be very appreciated. Feel free to contact me on LinkedIn at Luki Danu, LUKIDANU, and the same on most social media platforms. And I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. Bye.